Hello my dears, welcome to this month's full moon reading, and this month we have a full moon and it's a super moon in Scorpio, which is my sign, my sun sign, my moon sign. So much Scorpio happening internally in me. So I feel very aligned to it, even though a lot of people will not be that happy with it because it's quite an intense energy, Scorpio energy. It's very internal based, it's very subconscious focused. We're really looking at those things that we maybe repress and we have been repressing. And yeah, so I'm going to do a full moon reading for us and we can kind of see the impact that this super moon in Scorpio is going to have on us. So let's have a look. I am using the Pagan Otherworld tarot deck, which is I think my favourite tarot deck ever because it's quite medieval and grim in some cards, and I love that. So we're using Pagan Otherworld deck today, but I will be swapping and changing decks as we go along depending on how I feel, but this is a very Scorpio-y deck, so I thought it would be quite good. So let's have a look. First thing to note in our spread today is that we have 3 major arcana cards, and so there's that kind of internal energy that we're really focusing in on, and we're going to go through those as we go along. But let's start with the past position. So we have, I don't know whether you'll be able to see it perfectly because my camera won't focus, but this is the 7 of Cups. So we have that in the past position, so this is the energy we're moving away from. This is the energy that is kind of the catalyst for everything that's coming up for us in this supermoon in Scorpio. And with the 7 of Cups, it's very much based in maybe us trying to not focus on any specific part of our emotional well-being. So I don't know about the rest of you, but I know the last couple of months I may have been repressing some things because it's quite difficult at the moment during a pandemic, and so there's probably going to be a lot of stuff that we've all kind of buried down deep to try and just get through every day. So that's where the 7 of Cups comes into play. It's kind of that us, I mean, sometimes it can be us not knowing where to focus our energy internally, but for this it's very much us choosing not to focus anywhere. We're just kind of going, it's all too much, let's just put it deep down and then we don't have to think about it and it's all fine. So that's good. But as we're moving forward now, we have Wheel of Fortune and 10 of Wands. So this very end of cycle energy, this very period where it's basically saying that was fine, that 7 of Cups energy that you had in the past, that's perfectly fine if that's how you chose to deal with getting through everything. It was a lot to deal with. But now we're coming to the end of that, and so we're now having to wrap up the way that we were dealing with things, ending that cycle and really using this full moon in Scorpio to address those things. So it may not be easy, it may not be pleasant, but it is something that we need to do in order to adopt that Wheel of Fortune and that 10 of Wands and really put it to bed and be able to say, okay, that was how I was dealing with it then, this is how I'm going to deal with it now. So, 10 of Wands. 10 of Wands is a very action-based card, but it is coming to the end of the Wands cycle. And with the Wheel of Fortune is the 10th card in the Major Arcana, so again, that kind of end of cycle. So currently what we are dealing with is, well, a lot of us, especially in the UK, is the fact that we're now starting to get back to normal. So all of this stuff that we kind of put into place to cope with how things were, we're now kind of having to deconstruct that a little bit and come to terms with the fact that slowly we are going to end this way of life that we've been put into place to try and get through it, and we're kind of going to go into a normal-ish part of this cycle. So with that in mind, if we jump down to the subconscious section, we have Knight of Cups and the Sun. So the Knight of Cups down here is a really clear indication of us having to deal with all of these emotions that we may have been repressing. So a lot of emotions that are very intense, are very usually hard to cope with, or that we don't really want to cope with. They're just very intense emotional energies, and so that is deep down in the subconscious. That's the kind of thing that we're going to have to really dredge up, face head on, figure out how to kind of work through that stuff, figure out how to navigate it, figure out how it is currently affecting us, maybe in a negative way, and trying to find some sort of spiritual or emotional medicine that we can kind of treat that with. So something that we can do in order to be able to start tackling this and start tackling all this shadowy stuff that we've got going on down subconscious is to adopt this sun energy. So the sun is in the U position. It is how we are approaching all of this stuff that's happening. So it's basically telling us to try and focus on the things that we have achieved, trying to focus on the positives, but not really positives, so I'll explain. So instead of thinking about, you know, doing this work and thinking it's gonna suck, it's gonna be hard, it's gonna be upsetting, I'm not gonna enjoy it, it's gonna be just ugh, and I don't want to do it. Like, that's fair enough, but think about all of the things you'll be able to achieve if you do it. Think about how you'll feel once you have faced all of this stuff and you've tackled it and you've come out the other side of it. So take a very optimistic view on doing this deep, intense, emotional work that we're doing throughout this next cycle. Maybe you kind of form your full moon ritual around this kind of thing. Maybe you do a lot of shadow work, I don't know why I said it like that. But you kind of focus on that internal emotional healing that we kind of need to do with this supermoon in Scorpio. So again, taking that very optimistic view of it, really thinking about what you will feel like once you have dug up that stuff and relieved that kind of deep anchor that we've kind of got going on down here with the Knight of Cups. And then if we jump back up into this middle section here, moving out of this end of cycle, Wheel of Fortune, Ten of Wands area, we have the Six of Cups. So again, the Six of Cups links quite nicely with this sun approach that we've got going on for this kind of end of cycle, this digging up, difficult to face emotions. We have the Six of Cups. So again, taking that very optimistic view of doing this deep work, and also remembering and giving yourself a pat on the back for the ways that you have dealt with all of this. So maybe, you did repress a lot of stuff in order to just get by day to day. But what have you achieved from doing that? What have you managed to tackle? Maybe you've had really low days that you've managed to push through, or maybe you have had to, for example, like me, my anxiety has been sky high. I'm very proud of the way that I have managed that over the last couple of months. So really just giving yourself the credit that you deserve for even getting through what you've got through. So being able to focus on those things whilst you're doing this kind of quite intense stuff will really help you carry on and keep you motivated, but also stop this stuff from being too overwhelming so that you just kind of go, I don't want to deal with it, let's just, no, thank you. So you kind of balance it out a little bit. So as we move up from the sun, we have Three of Pentacles. So this real kind of sturdy, kind of creative energy that we have about building these emotional foundations. This is the external, this is kind of what the universe is bringing to you and how you can kind of meet the universe halfway. And that is by framing all of this work as a lesson. It is a way for you to kind of build that emotional intelligence that you can then use to carry you forward. So although like it sucks that we have to do this, if we can kind of see the benefits of it, again, we have that sun, we have that Six of Cups. If we can see the benefits of doing this, we start to build on that emotional foundation, and then we can continue to grow that as we move forward. And I'll come back to this in a second when we reach the outcome card, because it's quite a nice tie-in. So, moving up into this conscious position, we have Four of Pentacles. I've just realised I wasn't showing you any of the cards. Four of Pentacles, because you can't see that over there because the camera doesn't reach. And we have Ace of Swords up here in the hopes and fears position. So that Four of Pentacles, again, is kind of giving us that kind of support and that kind of like comforting feeling of knowing that currently we are in a position where, you know, we have a job, hopefully. If not, you have some sort of benefits coming in or some support. You have a roof over your head, whatever it is in your material world. It may just be support from a loved one, a family member, boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever. You have that around you currently to kind of give you that support whilst you do this emotional work. So you don't really have to worry too much about your material world as it stands. You've got enough around you currently that you can just kind of take a step back, separate yourself from kind of everyone if you want to find a sacred space for yourself and just really delve into this. So you've got the time and the space in order to really do this work that we have, because you've got that supportive energy of the Four of Pentacles up there in your conscious position. And with the hopes and fears position, we have Ace of Swords. So again, it may be that the Ace of Swords, because it's hopes and fears, it could be a hope that this will kind of lead you on to a brand new cycle. It could be that it leads you to a place of a lot more clarity around your emotional intelligence, what you're capable of, about who you are. It can also be quite a scary card, because if we're doing all this work, we may come across things that we are, you know, not ready to kind of face, or that we just don't want to kind of approach just yet. So again, we have to keep in mind that sun energy. We have to keep that optimism in order for us to see the benefits of that Ace of Swords and not focus on, well, what if I do this and I end up worse as an outcome? What if I do this and it actually triggers me into a darker period? If we go into it thinking about that, if we go into it with that kind of mind frame, it's going to be really difficult to kind of get any nutrients from this work. So we need to keep that optimism, we need to keep that sun energy to be able to get what we need from this really deep emotional work that we're going to be doing. And finally, way up here, I have to stretch to get it, is the Strength card. So that's a really nice card to get as we move through this supermoon Scorpio energy that is crazy intense, and that is gonna, you know, force us to shed some light on some areas that we'd rather not shed some light on, or that we have been avoiding for quite a while. But at the end of it all, we are coming to this place where we will have a lot more inner strength. We will have more trust in ourselves. We will have, again, if we go back down to this Three of Pentacles, we'll have built that emotional intelligence that we need in order to, you know, find strength. So with emotional intelligence comes strength. Usually, that's what I've found anyway, in my personal opinion. If you can be really in touch with how you're feeling, how you react to things, your like ebbs and flows in your mood, if you can kind of get to grips with all that and you can be really mindful about it, there is a strength that comes with that. And so that's what the Strength card is kind of symbolizing in this particular spread. It's doing all of this work, doing all of this hard work, facing the stuff that we have been putting off for quite a while, if we can do all of that during the supermoon in Scorpio, we're going to come out of this with so much more strength, so much more confidence, a stronger foundation in our emotional, spiritual, kind of inner world, that we can then go on to build something better, to be more optimistic, to embrace more of this kind of sun energy. So to sum it up, what we're really doing at the core of it is we are getting rid of that kind of stagnant, negative energy that we've got stored deep down in the subconscious, in order for us to be able to really embrace this sun energy, this new, more positive, vibrant, energetic energy that we want to be able to adopt for the rest of the year. Things are starting to look up, things are getting back to normal, we want to feel like ourselves a bit more. So we have to do this work, we have to clear out all of that old stuff in order to be able to attract this kind of new, vibrant 2021, 2022 energy that we all desperately want to get to. So yeah, that is the full moon reading. I hope it was helpful for you guys. And yeah, if you have any questions, let me know. Reply to the email that I've sent out, or, you know, contact me on social media, whatever you want to do. That is it for this full month reading. I hope it was helpful, and yeah, I'll see you next month. Bye!